Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
All of our guests today, including Elliotte, whom we're trying to get a hold of, and we will. Brought to you by Basant Motors. The return of the show means Basant Motors is also getting ready to give away their scholarship, and this year it is up to $34,000. Basant in Surrey, Fraser Highway. If you know a graduating high school senior, Rick, get them to check out the details at Basant Motors, BASANT Motors.com. How are we doing with Elliotte?
We're just waiting on him.
Okay.
He says he's going to be a moment.
Were you able to get the Canuck game last night?
I saw the Canucks game last night on television. It took me a good 20, 30, 40 minutes.
What sort of the legal setup did you have going?
I just stop. I got I got a box, and on that box I didn't know that I could watch all these games. I'm set now.
But you did. You watched it.
Well, I watched it. It was beautiful. It was lovely.
Braden Coots. I'm looking at their centers.
Oh.
They're all lefties. Braden Coots is a right-handed center. Will he at the very least maybe, it's so early, but he looked very comfortable, sharp at training camp. Same thing yesterday, assisting on the Mancini goal. Maybe he gets the 9 games, Rick?
There's a trust factor right now with Coots and the coaches. One pro scout told me last night, Donnie, he looks like a young Bo Horvat. He's making it hard for the Canucks to cut him, making them think he's going to be a hard cut and just may hang around to start the season. I don't know, Don, it's early, but he is gaining trust every day. Smart defensively. Offensive instincts, you saw in the Mancini goal. He wins faceoffs. He's a high-character kid. Great draft pick. But are we jumping the gun? You're getting too excited.
Well, of course we are. It's Vancouver.
It's Vancouver, so we're going to go nuts. But good on the kid. Watch this play right here. Nice.
That was on a power play.
And it's in
Seattle. And also Victor Mancini has impressed a lot of people as well. Elliotte joins us now from Hockey Night in Canada, the 32 Thoughts podcast. Elliotte, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
Guys, I'm great. Remember, it's the first week with all the kids, as good as they look. The veterans don't care this week.
Yes.
It's next week.
Yeah.
Next week where you see it's good he's putting up a good showing. It's good he's impressing people. But you got to wait to the second week to see if he's really got a shot to make the team.
Right.
Are you laying down right now?
Sort of.
Okay.
Yeah,
Are you scratching your leg?
Hey, listen, you're the busiest.
No,
you're the busiest guy on the planet. You deserve a rest.
No, you know what? I've got a bit of an injury. I'm healing. I've got I've got to I got to be off my feet.
Okay. No details?
Yeah, you know what? I got like a turf toe.
Oh.
And it hurts, man. It really and this is why you should never work out. This is why working out is stupid. Because when you work out, you get injuries like a turf toe.
Yeah. That's one of those injuries, turf toe. I've never had it. But it's one of those injuries you hear about a lot, and how bad could it be? Anybody I know that's had it says it's extremely painful, so we feel for you, buddy.
Yeah.
I woke up this morning. I was in agony. It's brutal. It's just brutal.
Elliotte, 8535 Rob, get it on.
It's for like a bone. 8535 doesn't work for bones. It works for muscles.
All right.
Rick uses it on everything.
Oh.
Hey, Elliotte, let's get serious for a second. Bernie Parent leaves us at the age of 80. I know you're younger than I am, but your memories of the late, great Bernie Parent. Boy, what is it with the Hall of Fame goaltenders lately? Ed Jockman and Kent Wright, and now now Bernie. But your memories of him and what he meant to the Flyers franchise.
Well, one of the best players in franchise history. They probably don't win the 2 cups without him. Kelly Rudy's favorite goalie. He always talked about what a big fan he was of Bernie Parent. I had 2 opportunities, Don, where I had a chance to do stuff with Bernie Parent. I hosted once the press conference for the outdoor game in Ottawa, and he was there, and he was great to deal with. And during the 2010 Stanley Cup Final between Philadelphia and Chicago, I did it. They hadn't knocked down the Spectrum yet, so it was across the street from where the Flyers were playing, and we did a tour. Like, he walked me through it, and he remembered some of the places he played in the dressing room where, before they won the Stanley Cup the first time, their coach, Fred Shero, told them you win today and you walk together forever. And he just had such a big smile when he said that. And I was mentioning on our podcast this morning, Don, that I have a book at home. It's a really fascinating book. It's by a guy named Greg Oliver, and there's a Leaf fan collector that he knows, and it's an exhibition of documents that this fan had in his house, and it's old contracts and old letters from the team to the players. There's sponsorship agreements. There's all sorts of correspondence, and people who are of my vintage and closer to yours, Don, they will tell you that the worst mistake the Maple Leafs ever made in about 5 decades of lots of them was Bernie Perron.
Yeah.
He was a Leaf goalie in 1972, and in the book is the contract, a 3-year offer for $167,500, and he turned it down, got bigger money in the WHA, refused to go back to the Leafs, and went back to Philly. And you wonder how different would it have been if Toronto had given him a fair offer. Would the Flyers have any Stanley Cups? Would the Toronto franchise have been different? But happily for Vancouver fans, they mucked it up and it never happened.
Yeah, strange given their history and what we know about them. Strange chapter in Leafs hockey. Bernie Perron and Jacques Plante, their goaltending tandem for a short period of time in the 70s. Hey, Elliotte, New York Rangers. Do you understand why? I know this story's a little bit old, but we haven't had you on for a couple of weeks. Do you understand why they made former Canuck JT Miller their captain?
I was a little bit surprised, but what I think they are saying here, what they are going for here, is that last year was not acceptable, and they want to completely turn the page on it. To be honest, Don, I thought they would go Trocheck. I really did. I thought he was going to be the guy, but they didn't. And I think it was the New York Rangers saying, what happened last year is over. What happened last year was unacceptable, and we are going to turn the page. And that's why we're going to have a new player, or a relatively new player, wear the captaincy, someone who really wasn't tied into what happened last year. And I think that was their thought process. Look, everybody knows that last year in Vancouver, Miller was a big part of what went wrong. Everybody gets a chance to start over again. Everybody gets a chance to prove that a new year is different. You're going through that this year with Pettersson. He's trying to show that this year is going to be different and better. But I do think that he was named the captain in New York because they didn't want anybody tainted by last year to be wearing it. That's the way I saw it myself.
Elliotte, so far so good about Pettersson. You just mentioned him. He did good in his skates, practice, training camp, everything. They're raving about him. Patrick Allvin was raving about him yesterday, but that second-line center is still a big question, Elliotte, in Vancouver. How long do you think they give Hedl a run there before they might have to make a change?
To be honest, Rick, and you know this better than anybody, if the Canucks could make a change, they would have done it already.
Yeah.
You know how Jim Rutherford feels. He would like to have done something already, but there's just nothing available to him out there. And part of that problem, as we've talked about several times, is that there's only one team really waving the right flag at the start of the season, and their top two centers are Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin, so those guys aren't getting traded. So I think that's the issue. So, the only thing you can do, in barring something showing up, is that we aren't seeing right now, is that you solve the problem yourself. And, the thing about Pettersson is, I kind of had a little bit of a chuckle about some of the things that have been said with him. Everybody clearly wants, it's obvious. Sometimes when people say too many nice things about me, I'm like, what do you want? Or what's the ulterior motive here? With Pettersson, it's just very clear that they want him to know that the organization's very happy with him and they're trying to support him. I think some of it's a little much at times, but I understand that that's the way it works, especially when you're dealing with someone who had a bit of a confidence issue last year and you're trying to make sure he starts the season the right way. But, Rick, it takes two to tango, and there's nobody else. Mason McTavish, I don't really get the sense that despite what's going on with the Ducks, they're not really too eager to trade him. And even if they were, imagine the haul it would cost to get him. Oh, the other thing too about the Canucks is, they weren't really intrigued on, trading like guys like Ratu in the off season. So they really want to give some of these guys a shot. They really want to make sure they're not shorthanded down the middle. And ultimately, at least at the start of the season, they're probably going to have to fix this from within or sort this out from within. And again, too, I know, Rick, one game. I read some of the reports last night. Hedel didn't have a great night in the face-off dot or whatever. To me, and I really do believe this, week 1 is about just dipping your toe in the water. Week 2 is when you really get an idea of who's sticking and where everybody is. Especially for veterans, I can't freak out about the first week of preseason hockey.
No, that's true. Okay, you mentioned Mason McTavish, Luke Hughes still not signed, and then Jack Roslovic. What's going on with Jack?
I just guess he's not too interested in taking a PTO. I think there were some PTOs to him, and I don't think that it was interested, and he's still trying to wait to see what the right opportunity is. Obviously, there were some options for him earlier in the summer. He didn't take them, and now he's kind of waiting and just seeing when does the right opportunity open up. Does somebody have to move somebody to make room for him? Definitely Toronto's been one of the teams that they had some of the most conversation with, even before the agent switch. But Toronto's got a lot of forwards. They got a lot of guys, and they're going to have to move some guys out. So I can see them not being too eager to add anybody right now, but I just heard he wasn't too interested in the PTO, and he's kind of waiting to see how things shake out.
Wow.
The Rice method, rest, elevation, rest, ice, compression, and elevation. Nowhere, and I looked it up when it comes to turf toe, nowhere does anyone mention the remedy rub A535. So stay away from that, Elliotte. Okay.
Hey, Rice.
Yeah, you know what? I'll tell you this. I don't have a medical degree, but I was pretty sure that I was on the right trail on that one.
Couple of weeks, we'll talk to you, Elliotte. Thanks for this.
All right, guys. You take care. Have a great week.
You bet.